Now, how can you convince an average Igbo man or young man from the eastern region to join the Nigerian military? When, of course, they have seen the level of oppression, suppression, and intimidation meted on their people. As we continue to see the forceful disappearances of the youths and the attacks on the youths at every slightest provocation, even when it is needless, are being pounced on. These are people who have seen and have been narrated or told the story about the massacre of Igbo during the 1966 to 1970 Civil War. And they saw, of course, the progression of the war, that the war has not ended. So how could you expect people who fought the war and have continued to see the cruelty of the war or the aftermath of the war, the oppression, the sentiments, the conspiracy against a particular region, and you want them, in the face of all these realities, to still identify with you as one country? How possible could that be? That could be very senseless and unrealistic when you are canvassing, begging that an average Igbo youth should join the military. For what cause?
My history, and I dare say yours, tells me that the southeast zone of Nigeria predominated the officer corps of the Nigerian army before January 15, 1966. All that fizzled out after our 30-month avoidable civil war. Now, the Nigerian army has expressed concerns that youths from the zone are shunning recruitment into the army and has highlighted the need for sensitization. But the team leader of the year 2025 Nigerian Army Recruitment Awareness Team, himself a Southeasterner, Brigadier General Chima Ekafo, is in the region in a bid to change the narrative. He was at Umuahia to sensitize youths on the importance of taking up the slots allocated to the zone. Over now to the power of conviction.
It is understandable that people from the Southeast are reluctant to join the Nigerian army. Because when you join the army, you are laying your life down for the flag.
Yeah.
And because of these Biafran sentiments, some of them believe that they don't want to join and fight for the Nigerian state. But it's unfortunate. Unfortunate because 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, when there is need to appoint officer corps at the top of the Nigerian army, they would solidly discover that they don't have officers at the table.
Within their ranks.
And then they will now complain again of marginalization, of how they have not appointed somebody from Southeast as a top army general.
Yeah.
But if you don't join, you cannot have the opportunity of rising through the ranks to get to the top of it. So they have to look at that. You cannot say because you are upset with the Nigerian state or because you are desirous of Biafran state, you will now let this opportunity pass to join the Nigerian army. Because if you don't join the Nigerian army, the army will move forward and put people from other regions. And eventually, these people will move up the ladder and then they will get to the top and they will be the one that can be appointed into positions. So it is important for leaders and leaders of thought in the East to sensitize their youth to know that it is important for them to be part of the army, the Nigerian army, because as a component part of Nigeria, their interest in the Nigerian army is also important. It's unfortunate what has happened because, like the news said, they used to dominate the Nigerian army.
Oh yeah.
Before 1966 school, they used to dominate the Nigerian army.
Meritoriously,
because a lot of them joined. A lot of them went to when the colonial masters were here, and they were recruiting like this. At that time, the Western region were not so enthusiastic in joining.
Yeah.
It's just like the same thing that was happening now. They were not told.
As a matter of fact, because of the preponderance of officers from the southeast region then,
Yeah.
the late Sardauna said to his boys, you people join the army.
Yes, in fact, they were going to schools to recruit
school to
young
school,
people.
yeah.
People like President Buhari were recruited in schools.
Yeah.
Because at that time, a lot of the regions were reluctant to join the colonial army. And it was the Southeast that were really joined. And they benefited from it because as at the time we got the independence, most of the commanders were from the Southeast.
That is simply total rejection of the Nigerian state. You cannot tell them, beg them to join a nation or a system which they know hated them, a system that abhors them. This is no longer a mere hearsay, but it has been played out. How will Nigerians be asking the Igbos to join the military? Why they are being denied the right to be the president of Nigeria by the conspiracy of the North and the West, even when they meritoriously deserve to be the administrator of the estate of Nigeria. While they are still within the corridor of power, they manage the resources, the economy of this country. Nobody was complaining. There was no austerity, there was no inflation. The country was moving forward. But as a result of envy, acrimony, hatred, deep-seated hatred, they conspired against him. Prior to the bloody civil war, Nigerian army, the Igbos occupied the officer cadres in the Nigerian army meritoriously. It was not based on intimidation or subjugation. It was based on merit even before the pre-colonial masters, before the pre-independence eras. They meritoriously served in different capacities. Meritoriously because of the envy, acrimony, and the deep-seated conspiracy just to bring an Igbo man down. And they have seen this repeatedly, even after the Civil War, when Gowon declared no victor, no vanquish. But in reality, we have seen the victors and we have seen the vanquished. Relegation down to the ground, be frustrated to the point that they were stripped of whatever is left for them to survive, to lean on after the Civil War. With the conspiracy of Awolowo, then the Minister of Finance, they were stripped off. Everybody was just left at the mercy of whatever happens to him and was given, even though you have 10 billion pounds in the bank, you are only given 20 pounds to go and die. So with all this development and the current realities staring at us today, coupled with the sentiments of the Biafran quest that has been sustained because of unaddressed injustice and persistence of continuous oppression and subjugation of the people, you can never convince them. I myself made 3 attempts to be shortlisted in the short service DSS short service program, but I was not given the opportunity. In fact, the last one, I vowed never to participate in that. After rigorous process, I think about the last stage, we are told that only 2 slots was meant for Imo State. You know what that means? It's just for the governor and nothing more. It is not contestable. So how could you meritoriously serve when you are not given the opportunity, when the system does not allow such opportunity to serve with your heart, to serve meritoriously with dignity and dedication and commitment, knowing that your reward and effort will, of course, be recognized and be appreciated. That is just it. That was what led to the quota system or whatever that eventually played out, that watered down all the entire system, that paved way and give room for mediocrity, corruption, and in fact, nepotism is now the order of the day. In every sector called Nigeria, in every facet of Nigerian existence has been destroyed because of nepotism sentiments and envy and conspiracy against the Igbos. Now you are now in control. What is happening? The Hausas has been in control of Nigeria. They have not fixed the Nigerian problem. Issues continue to compound. The Fulanis has been there. They have not been able to fix the country. It keeps getting worse. But the people who, of course, their ingenuity, their technical know-how, their industrial nature would have revamped the economy for the interest and common good of all, you failed to integrate them, give them opportunity to do what they are known best for. They are striving in their different areas of endeavor, different fields of endeavor. They are selling, even in their business. The entrepreneurial spirit cannot be questioned. You could only envy it because of jealousy and whatever, but you can't take it away from them. It is inborn. So it is inconsequential and out of irresponsibility canvassing or trying to coerce the people to join, unless you want to conscript them into the military against their own wish. Several of them have the willingness and eagerness to serve, but they have seen what has played out in most recent times, and no one could even be encouraged to do so. So they consider, majority of them, that the only way is to stay clear. Let those who believe that Nigeria belongs to them do whatever is best known to them. Some, of course, have expressed dissatisfaction and have turned down the Nigerian project. That what they need is Biafra, and that is what they stand for. Because of the oppression and subjugation of their people, they have seen how their own people have been even denied the opportunity for promotion, even while serving in different security parastatals. So all these things are not until this injustice is being addressed and people are being reintegrated to believe that Nigeria belongs to all. But as it stands now with this system, with its current configurations, you can't convince anyone. You're just wasting your time. That is just the truth. For people saying that they are losing their own slots, they are missing out, what is the fate of those who have been there? What is the pedigree? What was the story, the end of the story? And those who are serving, what is their provisions? Many have been killed, slaughtered under certain conspiracies and connivance. We have heard it. Some persons believe that they are just being targeted. Let them come out and be taken to the slaughter and be killed. As several, even most of the security personnel have expressed deep frustration and, of course, been demoralized over what is happening. They have not felt better either. So what is the motivation for those who seen them? Of course, while growing up, I schooled, my early primary schools, I schooled in Bukavu Barracks, that is Kano State. And my early primary secondary school, I also schooled there, GSS, SS1. I also schooled there. So I have been in the environment, the military environment. I saw the cantonments, I saw the military regalias, their glory. But such glory has disappeared. If I will use the word, there's no longer glamour, there's no longer dignity, there's no longer passion. I mean, when you see military personnel, especially the army, the Air Force then, I mean, they look so tantalizing, too attractive. You will be inspired to serve based on equity, fairness, and giving equal opportunity for all, even for growth and development in every career of your choice or choosing career or profession. But that is not the case today. Man know man, who know who. Let's suppress these people, intimidate them, and silence them. Now, if they discover that, of course, you are not sincere and committed to the nation building, rather you are seeking opportunity to suppress, to reduce them, to kill them, force their forceful disappearances, kill them, or whatever happens to them, it doesn't matter to you. And you think they will be reintegrated. They will consider you as one. You are deceiving yourself. Nobody under this current configuration, not just the Southeast youths, even the Southwest. Of most recent, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was begging the Southwestern, the Yorubas, to join the military. When people are seeing the level of injustice, what is meted on the serving officers, how will you expect them? There is no even motivations, there is no incentive, no encouragement. How much are they being paid? And besides, they risk their life. What is left for their families in the course of the demise or the death of the officers? Most of the families have been relegated. Even what is due for them might not get to them. While serving, you are hungry, let alone when you retire or when you are dismissed or when anything happens to you. What will your family fall back on? Why an average councillor, politician, because of his politician, under 1 year we built skyscraper, we own cars, fleets of cars, just ordinary councillor. By the time he finished, either the 2 years in office or 4 years, you see the person multi-billionaire. Why those who risk their own life are not being catered for? Of Moses and the new serving army chief, berated, was not happy with the feeding ration or allowances. He has to even force for it to increase to 3,000. These are people who confront insurgency, who risk their life and the rest of them. What is their health insurance? Life insurance? Is there anything attractive? Why the politicians cut away? What are the senators doing there? Or the House of Representatives? What sacrifice are they making for Nigeria to move forward? Those who are defending the territorial integrity of Nigeria is being reduced to nothing. Unfortunately, most of them also play along with them to the gallery when they are being used to oppress the people who are fighting for their own interests and for their welfare and well-being. Because if the working condition and the allowances of the civil servants or public office holders have been reviewed, it will also affect the security operatives. But when the politicians use you against the people who should fight for you, then the whole system will bastardize. Everybody is now looking for opportunity to exploit, to take whatever he can take while he has the opportunity. Now, the appointments and other positions are no longer based on merit. So how will such system continue to strive? How will you attract the best brains? How will you attract the most intelligent? How will you attract those who are coming to serve with all their heart the nation, knowing fully there is reward for every level? But that seems not to be the case here. So it is impossible to convince anyone under these current realities because they have seen it all. There's nothing you have to say that could convince them otherwise. So you should go and do what is needful. Before talking about the future, why the present is not secured, what is the need of the future? That they are losing the opportunities and so what? The ones lost. Those who are there, what are they gaining? Are there not Yorubas in the military? Are there not the Hausas and the Fulanis? What is happening? Is there security? Is there safety? Is there an air of confidence in the security architecture today? Killing here and there. No, the perpetrators are not being apprehended. They go scot-free after raiding communities, sacking over 250 communities. You can imagine that. Collecting ransom from the people. Subjecting the people, the some Nigerian citizens, to all imaginable cruelty, extortions and the rest of them. Who has caused all this? Let those who has messed up this fix it by themselves. Otherwise, of course, let it be. Let everyone part this way. I wouldn't want to, of course, suggest anyone to either join or not to join. People have their conscience and their opinion, of course, and their will to freely choose. It should not be on compulsion or based on deceptive propaganda. People understand what is playing out, and you can't deceive them. If the military is becoming attractive, those within the, of course, serving military hierarchies wouldn't be tendering resignations. Often you hear 600,000 of them tendering resignation within the space of months or few months, because it's no longer attractive. They are being demoralized. Imagine those who were sent on special force keeping in the volatile regions of Borno State and the rest of them. After 2 years, they want to integrate to their families, and they are telling them that there is no money for the transportations and other allowances. How will all us hearing this? It's before the public domain. How will you encourage people to join? No, how would you encourage? For me, I never regretted that I was denied 3 times to serve in the DSS or Secret Service. I never regretted. Perhaps it could be a blessing in disguise. Whatever be the case, you have to fix the problem, because you understand the genesis of the problem, but living in denial of the reality. You don't want to fix it, or perhaps thinking you can circumvent it. But people are watching. Only they may not have the form to speak. But whatever be the case, it is not possible to convince them again. It is too late. They have made up their mind, and that is their resolve. That you can't change or take from them. Let's have your own take regarding this development. It is inconsequential. It is immaterial. Whether you think they can be convinced. But maturity, in fact, those serving are being asked to resign. I lost one of the leadership, not just one. You see, in the army. So what happens to their family, to his children, tender children? It's quite unfortunate. But you can't eat your cake and still have it. Except there is a miracle. Well, do we see that happening anytime soon? Well, let's have your own take regarding this development. Thank you for watching. And let's have your comments and observations or reactions via the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.